and it is so comfortable.
Yeah.
But what it's really doing is it is an accelerator of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're rocking in it, you get up to maybe go to the washroom, and you're like, oh, my knees are a little sore, my back's a little sore. I'm gonna go sit back down in that chair, and and you kind of notice you're getting a little wrinkly in the face, your hair's going a little white, and it's just
Your beard is like a meter long.
yeah. And the thing is, it's just like it's like a catch-22 because you are so comfortable in this chair, but it's making you age so fast. And how do you help all your sore bones, but sit back in that chair and rock a little more, and be like, I'm just going to sit and rock a little bit while I think of what I can do to reverse this spell of aging.
It's like hitting snooze when you're already late.
Yeah. Yes. And then eventually this character's whole life flashes before his eyes, and this is
Is his life flashing before his eyes, or his life is
no, sorry, his life is
passing him by?
his life is draining out of him, and that life is soaking into.
Oh, so it's not that time is passing very fast; it's that he is aging.
He's
very
aging
fast.
rapidly, yes, and
Wow.
his youth is being given to the devil.
Ah, of course. I knew the devil wanted something out of it.
Oh, that's from hell.
It is from hell.
It's got his mark on it.
Mm.
There we go. Does it have a happy ending? Is there any way for this fellow to
No,
be young again? Or
he's
it's
gonna
over?
rock. He's gonna rock down a highway to hell.
What if the whole point of that? What if the whole thing is like, okay, you can have your youth back, but you got to trick some other person into rocking in this chair?
No, I
Put it
kind of
out on
like
your
the
curb.
idea that like rock and roll music often has this demonic bent to it,
Okay.
and that maybe it was the wrong rocking all along, and the devil just really likes rocking chairs. There's nothing more metal than a rocking chair.
I like that. I like that. There's just something was lost in the Bible,
Yeah.
or the Satanic Bible,
Yeah.
where everybody, all the mothers in the '70s thought it was rock and roll music, but really,
but it was
rocking chairs.
the wrong kind of rocking that they were worried about.
More people have died in rocking chairs than have died listening to rock and roll music. I'm sure that's a fact.
That's impossible to prove.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
All right, Matthew, let's pull out another one of your your Mad Libs.
All right, here we go. How I killed my
Blank. What is the blank?
How I killed my tomatoes. Once again, all of these horror stories are really
They're
they're
turning out pretty
blessings.
happy for you.
These are. I am in.
Matthew,
I'm
a
very
noted
happy.
disliker of tomatoes. I was trying to convince you today. Not convince you really, but whenever I've got someone like you who really doesn't like a particular
Someone
thing,
like me.
just hear me out. Who really doesn't like a particular thing, or like my girlfriend's a vegetarian. I'm always trying to find the loophole where I'm like, well, what if this? Would that allow you to, what about if you're riding a bicycle and a fly ends up in your mouth? Does that count? I'm always looking for
Yeah.
the loophole. So, Matthew, today while we were eating, I said, how about confit tomatoes, Matthew? Have you ever had confit tomatoes, which are basically a cooked down, spiced, oiled small tomato that turns almost into like the fanciest ketchup?
Okay.
It's still a piece of tomato, but it's like now very fancy ketchup. Very soft, almost a sauce, but not. And then we got into a discussion how you don't even really like ketchup.
I don't even really like it that much. It's just I can tolerate it because sometimes you need a little bit of ketchup with something.
Okay,
but,
well, where do you need a little bit of ketchup?
in a burger, I'd say, if you don't have other sauces. If it's just a generic burger place and they don't offer, let's say, a spicy mayonnaise or something, and you just
Okay.
have mustard and ketchup and relish, I'm going to take the lesser of the three evils. I'm going to take ketchup.
How about a ketchup mayo fancy sauce blend?
That's okay. What I really never liked were the chunks. Anything with a little bit of chunks
I like the little bit
of tomato. That's what I can't get around. And when you suggested, what about this confit tomato? I'm thinking this is in a situation where perhaps I've lost a bet and I have to eat tomatoes. This is one of the best ways to do it. But that on the same level of how to eat fried worms. This kid loses.
What?
This kid. Well, the classic tale of a boy who had to eat a bunch of worms.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do it, but now that you have to do it, you're going to find the best ways to do it. And I think frying them, much like anything, you deep fry something, it's good to go.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, I think it's like, why would I subject myself to eating even the fanciest preparation of a tomato, maybe the one that I would like the most, when it's all garbage to me?
What if it was a deep fried tomato?
Yeah, once again, only in a situation where a tomato must be eaten. Because that seems awful. Biting into a chunk of tomato, deep fried on the outside, poison on the inside. So for me, how I killed my tomato, I would if I was ever unlucky enough to have a tomato garden,
tomato. Oh wow!
Salt that earth, salt the earth, and then not let any other tomato grow. I'd even do they have tomato farms?
Of course.
Salt all that. Go around in a plane like a plane that is there to relieve.
Like the type of plane that would like drop Agent Orange during Vietnam.
Yes, I'm sure I can get one of those cheap on Craigslist, and you fill it with salt, and then you just drive around all the tomato farms, and you salt all the earth.
Why don't you want other people to have tomatoes? You don't need to kill all tomatoes off from existence.
I'm
What
malevolent.
about spaghetti, Matthew? What about spaghetti?
There we go. That's the thing. Canned sauces I can deal with, and if there's chunks, I'm just gonna puree it.
This is so sad. Okay, Matthew, let's get into our initial thoughts on this burger before we get into another apparently not so spooky tale.
I'm coming out clean on my end here. So yeah, our initial thoughts of the burger?
That burger was sat down in front of you after our very kind waiter opened your ketchup for you.
Mm-hmm. And not only
really
that,
for me, because you ended up not even eating any ketchup.
So getting back to the ketchup. As he was opening the ketchup, I was like, okay, well, I'm at least going to open this mustard, this Dijon mustard, while he's opening the ketchup. That way I can be like, see, I could have done it.
Okay.
But I couldn't do it. And by the time he finished the ketchup, he was like, well, let me also do your Dijon. So
May as well.
I made it worse.
Yes.
I made it twice as worse. And then the fact that I didn't want to use either of them.
Ultimately, I ended up using both, so they were not opened in vain and not wasted. And I didn't open mine so that they could be reused, hopefully.
Yeah.
But it's the Ritz. Maybe they just go, oh, well, we put this on a table. Now it's for the trash.
Yes, one of these gentlemen who are not dressed appropriately touched it.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. So the presentation of the burger.
They didn't even have blazers on. Their hands are probably covered in filth.
Covered in sticky whatevers.
Ugh. Okay.
Candy.
So the burger sat down in front of you.
But
First thoughts. Did you rub that bun?
I touched the bun a little bit. It looked a little greasy. It felt a little greasy. It was a little greasy.
No, I didn't notice.
A little drippy, the burger itself. But what I noticed right away, the first thing I noticed was the cut of the patty itself. It looked like it wasn't irregularly shaped. It was a very concise disc of meat, which usually means this was a frozen patty.
Not necessarily. They could have a patty presser.
Yeah. they could, but in our history, usually a perfect disc means this thing is prepared, came out of a box, had to remove a little bit of parchment paper from in between the two slabs.
Let me just before we get into the thoughts, let me just mention what the burger consists of.
Yes, please.
Obviously a bun.
Mm-hmm.
House ground beef, apparently. Arugula, tomato, no tomatoes on yours. Onion chutney. And it can be served with or without smoked pork belly and Morbier cheese. It's a $31 burger.
Yeah. I debated whether or not to get that pork belly.
Mm-hmm. Because you weren't sure what pork belly was.
Yeah.
Smoked pork belly.
Yeah.
Basically bacon.
I know what a belly is.
Yeah, it's a fattier bacon.
Sure. But you know what was weird? Because when I was eating it, I don't know. I was like, am I eating the chutney right now or am I eating the pork belly? And that just kind of grossed me out.
Well, the chutney was onion.
Yeah, but it was all like, it
was kind of like a caramelized onion, basically.
Sure. But you get it in your head that caramelized onion is a little pig's belly. And it's all sloppy and chewy. It's all kind of gross. And just the fact that it gave you the option in the menu served with or without. So it's
I believe that was more of certain people do not eat pork for religious or other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was to give you the option of not having pork.
Okay. Well, my mind went to, pork belly might creep a lot of people out, so let's maybe give them the option to not have a...
And instead of removing the pork belly, you just remove the tomato.
Yeah, I figured if I'm removing one thing, it didn't feel like the kind of place you could make a lot of requests.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was going to make one, let's make it the tomato.
Let's see. Okay.
So what did you think of yours when it got sat down in front of you?
I thought it looked very good. The presentation was nice. Really was those little things of condiments that made the most of that really piqued my interest in the presentation. But the burger itself looked very, very nice. and the patty itself looked very juicy and enticing. I was very eager to sink my teeth into it, and just picking it up the first time, I loved the feel of the bun. I could tell that bun was going to be a very, very good bun.
Yeah. I'd love to be in your head sometimes, just because I don't know what that would be like.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay, so for example, before we got our meal, there was some bread put on the table.
Yes.
There was sort of a regular diagonally sliced cuts of a baguette.
Yes.
And also some other kind of bread that I hadn't even tasted yet, but I felt it. It was nice and soft, but also airy. And it had some other ingredients in it. There was like little bits of pepper or tomato or something in there. And that bread looked really good. And I was excited about that bread too. I don't know what you mean. Like you can not know about being excited about bread before you even taste it, just from a touch.
I think it's
soft.
I think it's on me because I'm really a white sandwich bread kind of guy. Like
usually white bread means something else, but okay.
Well, no, it's like you want multigrain, you want brown bread. It's like, no, just give me bread. Give me white, cheap sandwich bread.
Yeah.
When people are talking about
not for a burger,
people
Matthew.
are talking about pumpernickel. People are talking about all these fancy breads.
Rye, brioche. You're not interested?
Not really. I'm just like, give me the loaf, man. Give me the loaf.
Give me the loaf. Matthew wants some Wonder Bread. Give me the loaf.
Yeah. Just like kind of like cheeses. It's like cheeses.
What about like a sub sandwich on a fresh baguette?
Yeah, well, that's one of the things. Like, I would always have such a hard time ordering from Subway or really any of these make your own sandwich places because they make you choose the bread. At least Dagwood's is like, do you want white or brown?
Yeah,
it's like, okay, I know which one I want. But when you go to a Subway and they got like 5-6 choices of bread,
why is this an issue? Because in all honesty, there are two types of bread as well, white or brown, and then some have like honey and oats or some cheese and spices. Why is this such a big thing?
It's like, why complicate it? To me, the bread is just the vessel to get the meat to your mouth.
I guess.
And I don't want to think too hard about the vessel.
So what do you answer when you go to Subway? Whatever?
Just give me white bread. White bread. I just say standard. If I say standard to them, I don't know if they know what that means.
If I were the Subway employee, I would give you a white bread.
Yeah.
I might say, okay, the white, just to be sure.
Okay.
The Italian, which I believe is what they call their standard white bread.
See, standards are different everywhere you go.
So we discussed the bread. Enough about bread.
Always enough about bread. Nobody wants to hear about bread.
People want to hear about bread when you talk about a burger. The bun is the vessel for the burger, and it's an important part.
I did not place enough importance on the vessel. You take the wrong vessel to the moon, you're going to die.
That's right.
So, all right.
So now, before we get into sinking our teeth into the burger and our actual thoughts about this burger, let's get another couple spooky stories in. Matthew, the last one was yours, I believe. Another one of your Mad Libs. Okay, let's see what I've got. The leftovers from the beyond.
The leftovers from the beyond, or leftovers from beyond?
The beyond.
The beyond. Much more ominous.
Yeah.
The beyond.
Yeah.
Do you already have a story attributed to this, or
no,
are we making
this
it up
is just
right
a
now?
title.
The
We're
leftovers from the beyond. Is this our beyond? Is this just beyond the expiration date of said leftovers?
I don't know, Matthew.
Because this could be food from another reality.
It could be leftover. It could be, leftover from last night's dinner from another dimension.
Yeah. Like, when I think of other dimensions foods, I really think everything's kind of gelatinous. Things kind of, basically what the Who's ate for the, alongside the roast beast.
Yeah. Did they just have jellies, marmalade, and roast beast?
Everything was kind of gelatinous, and everything was just a little weird. So that's what I think. I think it's going to look like aliens and weird plant life. Everything's going to be very colorful.
Is it coming? What kind of container would it be in? Is it in a Tupperware? Is it in some kind of otherworldly Tupperware or futuristic seeming Tupperware?
I think
is it just like covered in a little tinfoil?
I don't know if other dimensions would have tinfoil. I think that's something that
Saran wrap
that maybe only we have. I think Tupperware, man. I think Tupperware from another place could really keep the freshness in.
So it's got those little handle locks on the side.
Yeah. Yeah. But they've perfected it in this other dimension.